Elon Musk and NASA have been collaborating on space exploration and improving human understanding of the universe around us for many years. Musk has made some of NASA's most surprising discoveries public while paying close attention to NASA's research of the Red Planet and his desire to establish a sustainable settlement there. Welcome back to another exciting video from Informed Now. Today's video is about Elon Musk just disclosed NASA's secret discovery on Mars. Before we start the video, please like, subscribe, and press the bell icon. What, then, are they? And does this advance humankind's contact with Mars? After being sent in 2020 to investigate the Gyr crater, the Persistence rover collects the dirt. When it is time for the Perseverance rover to be retired, it will transport samples back to Earth. Additionally, the rover collected 2 additional samples from the Martian surface in December 2022. These samples, as opposed to the 15 other rock core samples the rover has taken in and around the Gyr crater, were taken from wind-blown sand and dust reminiscent of a dune. The robotic arm of the rover's most recent samples was equipped with a drill for samples taken. Scientists will keep looking for evidence of prehistoric microbial life on Mars once the samples are brought back to Earth to further their understanding of the processes that shaped Mars into what it is today. Although rocks make up most of the models, scientists will also study shattered stones and dust to shed light on Mars' ecology and prepare humans for their eventual arrival there. These regulations, which impact everything from solar panels to space suits, will be helpful to engineers and scientists as they plan the first human journeys. Future Mars rovers will be created using what is learned from the Regals to avoid harming delicate components of the machine and slowing it down. The astronauts are at risk since previous Apollo missions demonstrated that these Regals were sharp enough to inflict minuscule wounds in spacesuits. While properly investigated, regolith might help shield humans from radiation when constructing a moon or Mars habitat, although it has some concerns. The regolith collected from the Martian surface contains LER-8, a poisonous substance that may endanger astronauts' lives if significant amounts of it were accidentally breathed in or consumed. If precautions are not followed, some dust particles, which are as small as cigarette smoke, may enter an astronaut's breathing system. A tube of Martian regolith could lead to scientific discovery and provide answers to queries regarding potential health and safety risks. Under a microscope, it might show a kaleidoscope of grains in all sizes, shapes, and colors. Every single one would resemble a piece of a puzzle. Over billions of years, wind and water brought them all together. A fascinating lead in the search for life on Mars. A small crater discovered by NASA Persistence in November gives scientists optimism that Mars may one day be habitable, or at least was once. Martian materials collected from the cavity reveal evidence of an aqueous past and are rich in organic molecules. These serve as the building blocks of life as we know it. Scientists working on the expedition think that the rover's tubes were filled with rock samples. Any ancient Martian life that may have existed will be preserved upon future returns to Earth. Minerals related to sulfates are among the organic materials found in the rocks, which may have retained archival information. Locations on Mars and the potential presence of microbes. According to one of the investigations that were previously conducted on the samples, the crater's rocks were exposed to water 3 separate times, depending on the circumstances in the rock. Small populations of microbes may have been supported each time the water traveled through, but it can only be confirmed once it is brought back. The ability to endure the rover does not have any equipment for chemically detecting materials or live species. Still, the device it does have allows researchers to investigate the Martian surface to a depth that was not previously conceivable. Finding molecules that are conducive to life that combines hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen is still a long way from discovering life or even providing evidence for its existence because the origin of such molecules could be non-biological or biological. The fact that volcanic materials rather than sedimentary ones were found in the Gyr crater also caught the researchers off guard. Gyr crater was created by a rock striking Mars at least 3.5 billion years ago, and planetary geologists predicted that the sedimentary rock that covered the crater's floor was created as the dirt and debris slowly gathered at the lake's bottom. Suppose there were ever sedimentary rocks in, scientists think it has long since vanished. The lake that initially existed in the crater lasted only a short time, as evidenced by the scarcity of sedimentary materials. Water is essential for life as we know it to live since complex living forms need a long time to develop and evolve. Therefore, life might have suffered if the lake hadn't endured. Although they were not anticipated to be there, the volcanic rocks are a partial letdown. These rocks are historical artifacts that contain enduring knowledge about Mars. The precise composition and chemistry of organic molecules on the Red Planet are confirmed by the evidence of microbial life discovered in the rock holes. The rover collected sufficient sedimentary rock samples while exploring the Martian surface. The rover returned to a location known as the Enchanted Lake after investigating and sampling at the Wildcat Ridge, located inside the Gyr crater. This area comprises thin layers of Martian rock created over time as the Gyr crater's mud, silt, and sand consolidated. Persistence allowed for the recovery of fan-shaped sedimentary rock from the surface. Until its recovery, it will do so as well. The critical robot handoff. Since it began investigating the Martian surface, the Perseverance rover has gathered some excellent materials, but its most significant challenge is still ahead. Only our understanding of Mars and the eventual human colonization of the planet will use the samples obtained. If local experts can evaluate the data it provides, the rover will scout out suitable landing locations for a robotic sample return while collecting rock samples to return the samples to Earth. An ambitious return campaign mission is being developed in collaboration between NASA and the European Space Agency. According to Thomas Subburchett, there will be two ways to transport the samples to Earth, via a patient and a different rover for the handoff. You cannot solely rely on persistence if you consider the overall risk of receiving those samples back. Frankly, that is not reasonable or feasible. Additionally, to send a second rover there that has its lander. Landing on Mars is challenging. Thus, the possibility of that is low. The percentage isn't 100% either. 2 miniature helicopters will be employed in place of a second rover to transport samples to the sample retrieval lander, carrying the Mars ascent vehicle in the robotic transfer arm if the retrieval is less effective than anticipated. Rovers will collect the samples in the future after the rover drops a modest amount of money into the river delta. Ingenuity. A 4-pound helicopter was used as a test vehicle to see if a controlled flight on Mars was feasible. The helicopter outperformed all expectations throughout its 30-day test mission and is currently scouting Mars from the air. NASA will use the success of inventiveness to create a new lander and 2 sample recovery helicopters. Although it is projected that the sample return mission will cost roughly $7 billion, since the robots are still in the preliminary design stage, more is needed. Fortunately, since the Endurance rover has accomplished so much since it landed on Mars, we can still anticipate seeing more incredible discoveries made by it. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content.